Welcome back. Santino and I in the building. What's up?
We've got a guest, which I don't like.
Why? Because I sprung him on you?
No, because I feel like this is our show. You get the fuck out of here, Pierce.
Respectfully, I am in town to teach a seminar at Fight Ready. I also have my white belt ceremony at Fight Ready as well. So, I have to make a special appearance on the podcast.
Yeah. We got to have you. Pierce is here. Big Bird's in the house.
Did we ever tell the story like last time he came? Or did you train before you did the podcast or after?
Are you talking about the staff story?
Yeah.
No, I don't think we talked about it on the podcast.
Oh, yeah. So Pierce came to train with us, all three of us, Kamwala in the back, producer, me and Tino. And we all took turns submitting him as many times as we could. He scraped up his knee. He came back for more, talk shit to us. Each time that we would submit him, he would talk a little bit more shit.
Yeah.
And it made it way more fun. Like, he's game as fuck. He could take a beating.
I did tap a couple black belts, but I won't tell you who.
Wink if they're in the room. And he ended up scraping up his knee and he got staph from the first day. I'm not going to say whose gym it was at. Kamwala.
Wink. Wink if the owner's in the room.
It's a breeding ground for
He didn't wink.
breeding ground for viruses, but you ended up going home with staph on your first visit.
Is that why they're renovating the building now?
Yes.
They had to fumigate
You
the whole
ruined it.
place.
I can't look at you two because you're the whitest human I've ever seen, and you look like you've been tanning in Brazil. Like, what is going on here? Like, the lighting
Somebody
is
in the
off
comments the other day said that I'm pissed off because a Brazilian must have banged my woman. So I'm starting to morph into a Brazilian man. So now,
Okay. I think you're starting to morph into a 1970s. like you're regressing. Like, the hair, it's flopping over. The jeans are getting shorter.
my
What's
mom
going on?
FaceTimed me the other day and she goes, I have not seen your face in like 4 or 5 months because she hasn't been here and we haven't FaceTime.
Startling.
She had like a jump scare. She goes,
Yeah.
You have curly hair? What the fuck's going on? She goes, who are you? You have facial hair now?
Yeah.
What happened?
I don't like it. It's weird. So what are you doing in town, Pierce?
Just like I said, I'm here for a seminar.
Just hanging
on
out?
spring break. Brandon made the call. He says he needs some help with his ground game. And I said, no problem.
Done. Bet.
Guy has the nastiest guillotine this side of the Mississippi.
Where are you going to school at, Pierce?
I'm in Louisiana. I don't want to say the specific school
Okay.
in case my ops might be watching, but
All right.
yeah, law school is going pretty well. And I'm, like you said, I'm white as Tony Kelly now that I've been down in Louisiana for 6 months. But yeah,
Louisiana will make anybody more Tony Kelly.
Speaking, was Tony Kelly not in Andrea Lee's corner this weekend?
He was. He just looks crazier. He has long
that was
hair.
him.
Yeah, that was TK.
Holy shit, I thought it was a complete different person.
No.
I haven't FaceTimed him with him in 4 or 5 months, and so I couldn't believe how he looked.
You
I
had
got
a jump scare. No, that was TK. What'd you think of that fight?
I mean, when a fighter has lost 5 in a row, they're going
Why
to lose
not?
6 in a row. Isn't it kind of isn't it exactly what we said?
100%.
JJ just does the right stuff.
All right, so I gotta say though, somebody was saying, I think it was on the commentary. I watched, I think the prelims, and then when the main card started, we went to dinner or something. So I didn't watch any of the main
Where'd
card.
you go to dinner?
Capitol Grill.
Okay,
It
nice
was
selection.
decent.
Yeah,
it was fine. It actually wasn't. So I guess, there's Capitol Grills in multiple cities. It was fine, but
It's like the Cheesecake Factory of really nice restaurants.
yes, it is. It was not. It wasn't like Steak 44 or Dominic's or like the usuals.
The rants.
Yeah, but we went because we hadn't been there and it was our anniversary, and so we're like, oh, let's try this. And
18 years.
menu.
Congrats.
18 years.
That's crazy because you don't even seem like you could be married for 18 years.
I know, it's wild. So sure enough, we are.
I can't typically get down 18 days. So like,
I know. Anyway,
all right, Andrea Lee.
the commentary was like, hey, JJ's very basic. She didn't do, doesn't do a lot. She gets the job done. And I'm just getting sick of people saying, oh, so-and-so is very basic and this and that. Because honestly, like, that is what is good. Yeah, that is just, she actually looked, she's not exciting, but she's very effective.
She has 0 skills that are going to wow you, but she does everything correct. She doesn't make mistakes.
And her boxing and striking actually really looked good on a technical level. And does she have good power? No. Is she overly dynamic or fast or anything you want to see? No. But she's very good, and she's getting better and better and better. I still don't want to see her, but let's not be derogatory and call basic bad. It's very effective.
I remember I got into it with this guy. Oh my God, I can never say his name. Pierce, maybe you know. John Stargarian?
That sounds about right.
John Stargarian? Yeah. He was like...
If you ever say that again, I'm going to throw something at you. That sounds horrible.
Hey, Pierce, why don't you scoot over just a little bit? Just guard me. And I love him. He's a super cool guy. But at the time, I was just full of piss and vinegar. And he goes, Tom Aspinall, super basic. And I just remember thinking like... What's wrong with you, man? Super basic because he throws a 1 and a 2.
Yeah, it's what wild. You need. It's the whole sport is kind of crazy to me at this point, where everyone's like, "Man, you gotta in and out and this and that." And,
Fluffy Hernandez,
well,
basic.
Yes, but I think more striking. I think for some reason, people never say, "Oh, their grappling is basic." They never say their wrestling is basic. But they say that about striking, and jiu-jitsu is basic. Oh, he got back in a guard. That's very basic. It's like, why is that bad? Nobody would ever say that in grappling.
Well, kind of, but then it's like Kron Gracie. Remember? Forever, he's the basic guy.
Well,
he doesn't do barambolos. He doesn't go inside.
Even that, you would say he's very like old school Gracie jiu-jitsu. That's a style, but I wouldn't call it basic.
Yeah.
Like basic is fundamental. Basic is what you need as a base to become better and to be good.
Think about the best jiu-jitsu guy of all time is Roger Gracie.
Fuck out of here.
I was just saying the same.
Takedown, pass your guard, mount, cross choke. That's it.
Roger Garcia? Is that Marcelo's middle name?
What are you talking about?
Huh? You said best jiu-jitsu guy of all time.
Well, there's one guy who's a 10-time world champion.
I don't care.
And the other guy is and he beat Marcelo.
Oh, yeah, he's 100 pounds heavier than him.
Well, then he's the best of all time. He smashed him.
Shut up, Marcelo.
Jiu-jitsu's not about size, right? That's
Marcelo
what I tell.
For life. Anyway. So, but with striking, they always talk about, oh, he's very advanced. Wow, he's amazing. Whoa, he's this, he's that. And then she's basic. So it's just stupid. It's a dumb comparison. It's a dumb way to speak.
I will say, out of all the fights last week, the first one you bring up is JJ Aldridge versus Andrea Lee.
Hey, why not?
Well, we had a tie to it because you're in the middle.
Segue, damn it.
Yeah, you're in the
Tony
middle.
You brought it up by being from Louisiana.
We just
talked about
you
Tony.
You spent more time talking about the fight today than you did last week. So,
well, yeah, it's more fun now to talk about it in hindsight with Tony Kelly involved than it is to talk about JJ
Tony
Aldridge.
Kelly back immediately.
I love Tony Kelly back.
Do you think it's a coincidence that she hasn't won a round since he made that pep talk speech in between rounds?
No.
Actually, now that I think about it.
Yeah, now that I think about it, correlation or causation, but either way, Tony, you did this to her. I love Tony. He's the angriest man I've ever met.
I think you should bring him back on the podcast to address the allegations.
Done.
No, we already addressed the allegations. Those are squashed.
Yeah, they're done.
And I still have that African shirt that I wore on that show for that one time. I've never worn it since.
That. I appreciate that. Well, let's get into this week's fight.
That was a nice touch. Now I'm thinking back.
That was good. Last week, card. But this week,
I love this card.
Good card. Yeah, I like it.
Well, should we jump into it?
Let's do it.
All right, let's get into it. Fight number 1. We have Chris Gutierrez plus 105 versus John Castañeda minus 125.
Now, Kamola, did you watch last week's show?
I saw a couple fights.
No, our show.
Oh, your guys' show.
Yeah.
You say your guys' show. You're part of the show, man. What do you mean your guys' show?
Our show, yeah. No, I saw. No, it's I wasn't here that episode. You guys did that last.
You know, it comes out on YouTube, Spotify, Apple. It comes out on all platforms.
Yes. No, I only saw bits and pieces.
Did you listen to announcing? He was trying to take your job.
Yeah.
Do you remember when Enzo used to be articulate?
What happened to him?
I don't know. Like, he became a teenager. He used to be like, all right, so Chris Gutierrez came in, beautiful angles, really advanced striking.
It's when you're put on the spot, man. It's when you have the mic in front of your face.
He started splitting every word up into 2 syllables.
He turned 14, and now he's like, yeah, I think they fought. I'm like, are you a mongoloid? Like, do you have an extra chromosome? And he's like, chroma what? I'm like, dude, I can't even. He just immediately.
He would pronounce it chromosome.
Yeah. Brandon Olivos. We're like, Oh my gosh, like what happened to you, child?
Do you have no brown friends? What's going on?
Oh my gosh. All right, let's go. Chris Gutierrez, John Castañeda. Pierce, man of the hour. Let's hear your thoughts first.
Yeah, so this is honestly, I'm glad they made this fight. This is a phenomenal fight. I guess maybe more so that Castañeda is going to be the one bringing the fight because Gutierrez, he does his little run around the cage, feint, leg kicks, and I do have money on Castañeda, so first fight of the night, first bet, and I just think John's just more scrappy. He's going to potentially look to get takedowns as well, and Gutierrez is someone that I guess like he's good at range, but once you get into the pocket with him, I don't think his boxing's going to be nowhere near as clean as John. So, I mean, overall, I just think the cardio pace and just John's overall ability to mix the martial arts, it's like, I feel like he's going to dunk on Chris Gutierrez, if we're being honest here.
Okay. Brandon. I'm sorry, I meant Brand. Dan. Dan.
I'm totally with Pierce on this one. Me and Pierce were texting a little bit about this beforehand, and we were kind of thinking, maybe this would be an interesting spot for Gutierrez here. And then I've always thought Castañeda is one of the most high IQ fighters around. And I mean that within his actual fight style and the way that he switches stances, and then he knows what's available for him in each stance. He's always making a really good decision, making reads. He's a really good fighter. He's like a guy we were kind of just talking about with JJ. He doesn't have a lot of firepower, right? He's not overwhelming power. He doesn't have, I think he has pretty good cardio, but not the best on earth. Not overly strong, not the best wrestler, but he's just so good everywhere.
He just goes for it.
He's so calm. He's always making reads. He mixes up the wrestling so well. And the thing that Gutierrez really struggles with is pressure. I mean, you know that from Dana, right? Dana was getting picked apart at range the whole time. The second he finally starts pressuring him, stepping into the pocket, he does really, really well.
Haley.
I thought Dana.
Dana fought him before Dana was with us.
Oh, okay. And then Haley as well. Yeah. But Haley only started winning when he took him down.
Yes.
I would love to watch a rerun of that fight with Haley 2.0 because it's very different now. But the pressure is what gets to him. And Castañeda is going to pressure. Also, him switching stances so much is going to eliminate a lot of those calf kicks. He's a phenomenal calf kicker, but obviously that's when you have the same stance. And Castañeda is comfortable out of southpaw. I wouldn't be surprised if he spends most of the fight southpaw. He's got better hands, really good head movement, works into his takedowns. His takedowns are great. I think, he's going to dog him, take him everywhere.
I mean, I have a quick thing. Just like looking at the record, I don't think Gutierrez has fought many southpaws, if I recall correctly. And Castañeda, he's like primarily southpaw too. So
I think he's actually right-handed, but he's a switch hitter.
I'm just curious your thoughts on like how that will affect the dynamic of the fight.
I don't think his stance or anything matters. The only thing that I think matters is does Castañeda just rush the takedown right off the bat? Because I think if they are standing, I think Gutierrez is going to pick him apart. The thing that Gutierrez does is it's really funny watching him is he feints and pulls away and just feints and pulls away. And he will not, he's almost very reluctant to throw first. So he's not going to go. He'll feint and move and feint and move and feint and move. And then he waits for you to swing. And then as he's moving away, then he counters you. And then the in between, his kind of jab is that calf kick. So he throws the calf kick as a kind of a space filler. And of course it does damage, but it's a space filler as well. That's his kind of like, I'm doing something while I'm doing nothing is the calf kick. And then he moves and moves, switches stances and goes. Gutierrez's takedown defense has gotten marginally better. And his stand-ups have gotten marginally better. Where he struggled in his last fight was when he got his back taken. But outside of that, it wasn't really like when he didn't take damage and he was getting back up. And that's the issue. This fight is all predicated on can Castañeda keep getting him down again and again. The issue though is Castañeda's not finishing fights. I mean, like he's not taking people down and ground and pounding them and taking people down and submitting them. He's clinching and he's getting the takedown, but then people are popping back up. And so, I think with the movement of Gutierrez, I want to say Castañeda because look, so like if you just wrestle Gutierrez, you get him down. We've seen it time and time again. It's like the wind blows and he falls over. The issue though is getting a hold of him. And people, when they just blitz in a rush and grab him and throw him down, great. But he moves so well and from the outside, it's very easy to say, oh, just grab him, just take him down, just close the distance. And then you're in there with somebody and you were right about to do it and they feint and move and you're like, oh man, the moment's gone, the moment's gone, the moment's gone. And the thing that Gutierrez does well, first of all, calf kicks, we know that, but he times stuff well. He'll bring a knee up the middle. He'll find a spinning back fist. He finds these moments to win, whereas Castañeda is very good and he does all of the stuff well. He just lacks that finishing power. And I think in a 3-round fight where it's probably going to go to decision and Castañeda is going to win the grappling exchanges, but probably not ground and pound, and he's probably not going to submit him, I got to go Gutierrez for damage and spending more time standing and doing the thing that he does than Castañeda with him.
I just want to say two things. One, I think you're saying that the gap in striking is way more monumental than I really feel that it is. I think that Gutierrez is a much better kicker, but I think that Castañeda is going to smash that distance. Now we're talking about a pocket boxing fight. And Gutierrez is really good striker. He really, really is a talented striker. But I think that Castañeda is going to have the bigger moments, and he fights at weird angles. Whereas Gutierrez, everything is here and he's making reads, but it's all pretty much lined up. Castañeda is ducking his head and throwing overhands and working his way in. And then the second thing is he just fought a pretty competitive fight with Daniel Marcos. I mean, he clearly lost, but it was a competitive fight. I think Daniel Marcos is significantly harder to get down than Chris Gutierrez is. And he wrapped him up, took him for a ride, and sent him to the middle of the cage on a takedown. That is way harder. Even Kyung Ho Kang, very hard to take down. He was ragdolling him all over the place. That being said, those two, I think Daniel Marcos is a better striker than Chris Gutierrez. Different. Different.
I think the hardest thing is not even like, I think it's just getting a hold of Gutierrez. I think even if they're standing, I don't think Gutierrez is just going to be piecing Castañeda up by any means. I think there's going to be just so much more space and time. And then Gutierrez is touching and moving, and it's just, where are you at? Gutierrez is just a shifty guy and he's hard to get a hold of. And unless you're just willing to just bite down and send in the pocket.
Castañeda is, though. That's the thing. He is willing to do that. And I would say at an even line. Now, if Castañeda was minus 300, we're having a different conversation here. We're definitely, I don't know about you, maybe honing in on a dog play.
What's the line on this again?
Pick him.
Pick him. Yeah.
I would say just optically, Chris Gutierrez's style has always got him in trouble, even against guys he was way better than, because he's constantly skirting the back of the cage, and Castañeda is always going forward. So I think just optically, at a pick 'em line, how could you not go Castañeda on that one?
Like I said what I said. Convince me otherwise.
All right. What do we got next?
My mind.
Yeah.
Where's your sign?
All right, next. We have Ozzy Diaz plus 168 versus Djorden Santos minus 193.
I think this is Brandon's Super Bowl right here, so I think he should lead the way.
Yeah, this is my Super Bowl. I'm going to keep this super short. Actually, Kamola, I kind of used you as an example before. The guy that you just fought on LFA, his tape before was, it was okay. It wasn't bad, wasn't good. And then when he came out and fought you, he was this Brazilian super soldier that never gets tired, unlimited strength, and cannot be hurt. And I was very confused by that. And then I look at Djorden Santos and his old tape where he was in Titan losing to Torres. He looked awful and fat and slow and didn't really have much. And then he goes on to Contender Series and all of a sudden he defends every single takedown. And that wasn't even the impressive part. His boxing combinations were pretty insane. The way that he's stringing things together, working the body, like he was beating his ass. And then I just line it up and I look at it like this. He's still a fairly young guy. He looks like he has a lot of promise and a lot of potential. And now he's fighting a 34-year-old Ozzy Diaz who got knocked out on Contender Series and then got to the UFC and got knocked out immediately in the first round in the UFC. So if I'm putting context clues, I mean, he looks fat. He's always had kind of bad cardio. He's always been a liability, his chin. You have minus 180 on Santos, who can take shots really well. His boxing is really good. His takedown defense clearly has been something, working with the Bond themes. I think that this is a crazy short line. I really like Santos here.
You don't have anything to say, Santino?
No, I do. I'm with you 100%. I think Ozzy was brought in to make the Chinese striker look amazing.
And he did.
And I think
that was a crazy elbow.
That was
boom. That was beautiful.
That was wild. And no, I think you're right. I think on Contender Series, you thought, not you. I just mean like
I picked Santos on Contender too.
Curry,
Curry?
Will Curry, yeah. He's not amazing, but he's tough. He's good. He's a good, solid guy. And man, Santos.
He's not a boxer though. Like this is the.
No, he's definitely not. He's not a boxer, and he's a let me grab you and go forward. The thing though is like Diaz is definitely decent.
He's got some firepower.
Yes, he has some firepower, but man, he just is very lackluster. He's old. There's just levels to it. He's a very fine regional fighter. He's just not technical enough to make it at this level.
I made up some shit last week on the podcast about Marquez being drunk all the time. And then I got 1,000 DMs that was like, dude, have you heard the news about Marquez drinking? He's drunk all the fucking time. And I was like, I just made that up. Like I did see him at UFL and I'm pretty sure he was drunk, but I made that up for the most part.
It's just a joke.
But then like I got like 1,000 DMs. I was like, no, this is for real. This is serious.
This is facts. These are facts.
So I just want to say Ozzy Diaz, he was contemplating retirement at one point. He ended up coming back and got knocked out. So that's all I'm going to say. He considered it before. And
what happened in that Marquez fight? I didn't see it. And I saw.
Oh boy, you're in for a treat.
Yeah. So what happened there?
He knocked out Cody Brundage pretty cold. Cody spit out his mouthpiece, was on death's door. They stopped the fight, give him his mouthpiece back, and then Cody Brundage come back and one punches him.
What?
Marquez was wobbling all over the cage, getting hurt with every single punch that got thrown. Somehow just was like, fuck it, we're here. Started swinging. Yeah, knocked out his mouthpiece. Cody's turning his back, shying away, ready to be out of the fight. Ref stops. Here you go. Boom! Cracks him in his
if you ask me, that's like Mark Smith had Cody Brundage money line right there.
Wow.
Dude, that was weird. I really want to like Cody because I know he's probably a good hang and he's probably a really nice guy, but his interviews piss me off. Crying. They said I couldn't, but here I am. It's like, shut up, dude. Just take your win bonus and go home. Go to the casino.
I think he beat the quitting allegations, though.
I don't think he did.
The ref
I think it looked
quitting
worse, dude. He was ready to quit. The ref just wouldn't let him.
Like, no, I'm not allowing this.
If he dies, he dies.
One more chance.
Then he looks at Marquez. God damn it, man.
Do you have anything to add on this, Pierce? Ozzy Diaz, Djorden Santos?
Yeah, so I mean, I get why you guys think Djorden Santos is like probably gonna win, but it's like I'm a bit hesitant on like taking out the bank account and putting it on someone like Djorden Santos. Like I want to be honest, like he did look good his last fight, but this is like Will Curry is like he's gonna make everybody look like a glory kickboxer. This is just my opinion. I know he looked good that fight. I want to see more from him.
Who would win, Curry versus Ozzy?
You know, Ozzy Diaz beat Chuck Campbell. That's all you need to know.
All right, get out of here, man. You know that Will Curry would win that fight too.
I mean, I just think overall, it's like Jordan's got great takedown defense. That's something like he's really good at. But like Ozzy, I understand that like he's a bit chinny and a little bit slow, which it's understandable why he's the underdog. But I just think like his boxing's like overall, like it's not awful. He's got a good jab. He keeps it basic.
He's got good firepower. He's like, a good kickboxer.
Like we said, the basics win the fights. So you got a guy in Ozzy Diaz who keeps it basic versus a Brazilian guy
who also keeps it basic.
Oh no, he bombs those overhands for like.
Come on, dude. He's a clean boxer.
I think Jordan's going to win. I wouldn't, would you think it would be early or late? I feel like for Jordan, it might be late finish.
I think it can happen at literally any time.
That's fair. But I'm just trying to think of a way maybe to get cute on the fight. Maybe like a late finish, round 3 for Jordan. But overall, it's like, I don't think Ozzy's awful. It's just like age and chin is probably my concerns here.
What do we got?
All right, next we have...
All right, you have got to tip that mic up. Having it tipped down is freaking me out.
Next.
Yeah, that's really weirding me out. No, like the actual tip the back of it down.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. That my OCD was freaking out, man.
You know, Pierce keeps doing the same thing with his mic. He keeps talking to it like this, and I keep watching it.
Yeah. Do you want me to be like an MC?
No, but they're called unidirectional mics, so they only pick up if you are talking into it. So if it's over here, it's not picking up.
Oh,
you got to point that motherfucker.
What if I want him to just hear out of the
No.
All right. Next.
I'm out. I'm about to drop
I wish
this
we
mic
could see
and
that.
get
Is
the
there any
fuck
way?
out. Oh, my gosh. Oh, people are trolling me. I can't handle this shit anymore.
Mairon Santos, minus 360 versus Francis Marshall at plus 295.
I want to start on this one because I have inside information, which is all false, and I would never accuse anyone of anything.
Oh, I already know where this is going.
You know, some people who train with either one of these people.
Would you say it's more of a desert climate or like a beach climate?
Yeah.
Okay.
So
I understand.
they're just. like, I don't think either of these guys are going to get tired at all.
Are you saying that like maybe one of the people moved up a weight class and added like crazy amounts of muscle in a really short period of time
and doesn't get tired now at all?
Never really got tired to begin with, but now especially.
No, I'm not saying that.
While throwing heat on every
strike. No, I'm not saying that. I'm okay. No. I'm not saying that.
That beach water in Florida is nice too, also.
Yeah, I'm not saying that either of these guys have anything to worry about since USADA is no longer here. I'm just talking to you and Pierce.
Puberty is a great thing, I would say.
It is. And sometimes, you develop into a man and your body changes and you just put on.
How does this affect Cody Brundage's legacy, though?
Him
and Bochniak are going to go down as the two greatest of all time.
Oh, man. Anyway, so you got Mairon Santos, Ultimate Fighter winner. I actually was, for the Ultimate Fighter winner, like, finale, I thought he looked fine, but I wasn't wowed by him. I thought, who the hell was his opponent?
Khan Offley.
Yeah, Offley. I just thought he looked bad. I thought he little and death gassed and kind of panicked.
Well, he treated him like he was bad in that fight.
Yeah, he did, but I don't. Marlon actually, I don't know. I mean, I thought he looked fine, but people are talking about him like the second coming of Christ.
In fairness, they've talked about him like that for a long time.
No, I know.
Even in LFA.
No, I know. I get it. And I get that he's very good and he has matured and he's getting better and he looks good. The thing though is, especially if you take these two guys, both young, people really high on Francis Marshall. Bulgarian kind of put that away. But I think Bulgarian's what a 3-time whatever NAIA or D2 national champ, whatever the hell he is. Very, very accomplished wrestler, which phenomenal. But then you've got one of them at Extreme and then the other one at ATT. And I think Marlon Santos is good and he's training with very good people all the time. But then you think of like who is getting better, and I think Marshall.
Shit, did he look good last fight?
Marshall? Oh, yeah. He looked phenomenal. And he did have a split decision with Bazooka, which
I had a bet Bazooka there, and I thought that Marshall won clear.
I thought he won clearly as well.
First 2 rounds, I think, and then the third, I think, was Bazooka.
Yeah. My thing is Marshall is at ATT. His grappling has gotten so much. He was always a good grappler. His grappling has gotten so much better. I think ATT has one of the best takedown, single leg cage, kind of chains in the game. And then they really know how to ground and pound and they know how to throw that body triangle and come up and really do some damage. Santos, although he is very good, I don't know that he's going to finish and just completely starch Francis Marshall standing. And then I think, and Francis knows to we saw it in the Bazooka fight. He was like clinching right away. Done. We're there. I like Francis here. And what's the line on this again?
Oh, you're going to throw up.
Like plus 280 on
Francis is plus 280.
You're going to put your Krause hat on. You're going to want to bet this one.
Yeah, no, this is, I like Francis for the upset. I think it's almost a pick'em type of fight, but odds like that on somebody who's down at ATT, who's getting better and better, who's young, who is not going to get tired either because of the water. Give me Francis Marshall for the upset.
You got some Hennessy in that chocolate milk you're drinking?
Maybe.
Because I mean, I didn't look into this too in depth, but I personally think Myron's a special talent. I've been saying this before his UFC debut. And while I understand like Francis, he does go for it. He'll stay in your face. I just feel like his type of style, especially on the feet, if he's not getting takedowns, I think Mairon is definitely dynamic enough to find the finish. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't Bazooka rocking him in the third round?
Yes,
as well in that
absolutely.
Fight? And it's like, I understand that like Francis potentially could get takedowns, but like, do you think Francis is a better wrestler than like Edwin Cooper? Because he defended off that wrestling incredibly well in the Ultimate Fighter. And I don't know. I just feel like if Francis is
no, but his hands are better than Edwin Cooper's.
I agree they're better, but at the same time, it's like Myron's whole game is like I think he's going to confuse Francis a lot with his movement and feints. And overall, I think his takedown defense is just leveling up as well.
I think his striking is good, but he's more of I don't know that his feints and footwork are anything overly tricky. I think his feints and his striking are good, but it's not, I don't think like a Gutierrez where you're like, man, get over here. I can't get a hold of you. I think Marlon's more than willing to kind of stand there and go. And which like Gutierrez, he's harder to get a hold of, but he's not finishing a lot of people because of that. Whereas Marlon, he's easier to get a hold of, but he's also, more dangerous and more devastating because of it. So you kind of a give and a take in the footwork thing. So I think it comes down to round 3 and just Francis Marshall blow his load completely where round 3, Marlon can kind of take on and really hurt him. And that's what I think it comes down to.
I don't know. I've just always thought that his style has kind of been built for anti-grappling in Mairon. I think his takedown defense against the cage is amazing. So I don't know. I just think Francis is going to leave too many openings, and someone in Mairon is dynamic enough to find the KO.
Yeah, I'm kind of. It's hard. I feel that Francis Marshall is a very good value underdog. I mean, I think the line is way too wide. When I saw it, honestly, when I was taping this, I expected it to be probably much more around Mairon minus 200, minus 180. Would you probably agree somewhere in that range, or you think like
65, 70%? So
okay,
that's about right.
Yeah, that's where I kind of thought he would be. And then to see such a big number beside his name on a fight that I feel is going to be very close, because Mairon is very dynamic. He makes really good reads, and his body is insane. Just the height that he has and the way that he throws knees and elbows and the way that he's so clean Muay Thai. The issue is that Marshall has better hands, I believe. I think his pure boxing is a lot better, and he's willing to be there, and then he's willing to mix that into takedowns really, really well. I think he's going to be a phenomenal underdog. Honestly, the way I would kind of work this one is I would bet Francis pre and kind of watch how the first round plays out. You know, even if he loses the first round, I don't think the price is going to change drastically unless he gets hurt. Then you're going to have some choices going into round 2, round 3. I think he's going to be a value loser, basically, because what I think is that Mairon can hurt him is the issue. You're right. His takedown defense is phenomenal. It's always been phenomenal. The only guy to really clown him with the wrestling but couldn't finish was Dan Argueta. And that was when Argueta was like the man, and he never stopped, and Mairon was super. Mairon was like half the size.
He's like 21 years old, too.
Yeah.
Dude, and his arms were this big. Now he's like busting out of the 45 division. It's crazy. In a very short period of time. It's insane. I think Myron's going to end up winning just by big moments and really hurting him. I think he can clip Francis coming in, but I think Francis, a good underdog that just does everything well. So I'm going to go Mairon on this one.
All right, next we have definitely the widest line on the card. Alex Morono plus 525 versus Carlos Leal minus 725.
Wow, I'm surprised that line is that wide.
Are you really?
That wide?
I thought it would be minus 2,000.
Really? Okay.
You seen the acne on this dude's back?
I've seen the measles on this guy's back. Like, that dude is not, like, that shit is like monkeypox or something. Like, that should not be around.
I will say, Carlos, when I've done my interviews with the PFL, he's probably one of the scariest guys that I've interviewed. This guy is clutching a Bible in his hand and just has like the meanest look on his face. And it's just, that is just not a guy I want to fuck with.
He seems like a vigilante in Brazil, like he kills homeless people or something that have committed crimes.
I like that.
He tells people they're going straight to hell on the street.
Oh, I would get in his face too. Say it again.
He was in, was his last fight, was that Riyadh or was that?
Oh, we don't want to talk about that.
When he fought Fakhretdinov.
Oh,
yeah, was that?
Yeah, in the middle.
Yeah, we were there, and I just don't remember where I'm at.
Do you have any stories with him?
I do. Well, that's what I'm going to tell you.
Did he tackle his coach?
He was there ahead of time, and we talked. I don't know why. Who's his coach? Because we know his coach. I don't even know why.
Oh, you know, the story of his coach last time is that his coach took his spot on the, UAE Warriors?
Yes.
Because he was an exclusive contract and he couldn't take the short notice for UFC
week,
unless they had someone fill in. So his coach filled in, knocked the guy out, and then he was able to fight.
Yeah, but wasn't Leal, didn't he do the same this time where he just showed up hoping to get in? Because wasn't he booked for Brave?
Yeah.
Leal was.
UAE Warriors.
No, he was on that card. His
Yeah.
coach literally filled in to fight the opponent he was scheduled to fight.
Yes, like that was it. And we he showed up there, and because we went there with Kelvin, that's what it was. And we were talking with them, and like, yeah, we just showed up. We intentionally booked this card hoping that somebody fell out, and they did. And we're like, oh, okay, like it's super cool. Like, who would have had the foresight of that? Like, awesome. Like, good on them.
He probably poisoned somebody. I know that. That's how they do it.
But man, that acne is creepy. And like I said, that looks like something way worse than it looked like he had measles or something like that, smallpox. But I like Leal. The thing that with Morono is he's good volume and he's off weird rhythm. All right. And I actually think this is, Morono's, I always put this guy down. I never think he's great. He's so like has this wide stance and this herky jerky style. But he does throw a lot of volume and he does throw well. And he's hard to pin down in the first 8 minutes. And then he starts to stand there a little bit and you start to hit him a little bit more. And I think Leal's cardio is going to be better this time because he's ready for it. He's prepared for it. He knows what he's getting into. And the other thing I think his cardio is going to be better is because the grappling isn't going to be there. It's going to be more of a stand-up battle. I mean, Morono has shot before. I don't think Morono's takedowns are as good as Fakhretdinov's. Maybe he times it.
You don't say.
Better. So I wouldn't be shocked to see him get Leal down to the ground just on a good time takedown, but Leal pop back up. I think Leal wins. I think he'll find some damage and hurt him. I'm just shocked that the line is this wide.
Well,
considering how much of a vet Morono is.
I mean, Morono lost a striking fight to Nico Price.
I know.
So for what that's worth.
Yeah, no, look, I think Leal wins. I'm just shocked to see that the line was that wide on it. So anyway, what do you guys got?
Surprised you didn't mention that was probably one of the worst robberies I've ever seen.
Which one?
The Fakhretdinov fight.
Oh, that was insane.
Especially considering everyone I know was on like Leal plus 250 or something like that. Like that was as bad as it gets. And I mean, Alex Morono, he's too feminine to beat a guy like Leal. The testosterone, the acne, it's just
those levels. Seriously, did you guys see the other day when they announced the Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree fight, and they just post both their pictures, and one's just like fat, sloppy, falling over, and the other dude's chiseled out of stone, just looks like a warrior. This is how this fight is like one sloppy fat guy that's going to be commentating for Fury next week versus a guy that's literally killing homeless criminals in Brazil. Can we get that started as a rumor? Watch me get 7 DMs. It's like, dude, I saw him last week. He had 6 guys strung up by their feet. Do you think a finish, Pierce?
I think you have to just look at the anthropomorphic advantages that Carlos Leal presents in this match.
Dude, the calf kicks that he throws and his jabs look like right hands to most people. He hits so hard, and man, he's just a bowling ball. I don't see him losing at all.
Yeah, I'm curious what the under is, honestly. I'll take a peek at that right now, but yeah, it's hard not to see a finish. I think the UFC is honestly giving him
I think you guys are nuts for a finish. Not nuts. You're not nuts. You're not.
He almost got finished by Nico Price.
I know, but almost. And so Chaos, I'm just looking. Cass Williams finished him. Ponzinibbio finished him. But
Ponzinibbio is like 65 years old.
Yeah, Joaquin Buckley did not. I mean, I think it's going to be one of those things like a Marcio Ruffy when he fought Lontop, and he just battered him, but he didn't finish him. And Lontop is durable. Like
Lontop hasn't been knocked out though.
No, I know, but I see it being a lot of. I really think it's I think Leal is going to probably really hurt him in the last half of the fight, and then I think it's just like he's going to hurt him and beat him up. I think it's going to be a good, solid win. But
the issue is Morono's cardio has not looked good lately.
That's true. And he always used to have really good cardio. But
yeah, and Leal's got freak cardio. He's drinking the same water. They're importing that to Brazil.
All right, what do we have next?
All right, next up, we have Bruno Ferreira plus 129 versus Armen Petrosyan minus 149.
Pierce, you want to kick us off on this one?
Yeah, this is a weird fight because everything on the tape tells you that Armen should just piece him up on the feet for 15 minutes. But then, like, I don't know, just a gut feeling like Bruno's going to hurt him at one point. And I'm curious because I'm not really too sure how the grappling's going to play out. Obviously, Bruno has those good hip tosses, judo throws. I just think it's just hard to get to a bet on someone like Bruno who presents like technically speaking, he does not do a lot of stuff right, but he just seems to have the power. And I don't know. I'm curious how Petrosyan comes back after getting absolutely embarrassed his last fight. But yeah, I think head says Armen's going to piece him to a decision, but gut tells me Bruno's going to find a way to meme a finish. That makes sense.
Okay.
I think Petrosyan's going to smoke him. I think he's going to kill him. Like, he's been fighting Russians since the beginning of his career. They're all taking him down. He has to constantly stand back up. He has done that his entire career. Yes, his takedown defense isn't the greatest of all time, but man, he's a good striker. I mean, he beat the shit out of Christian Leroy Duncan. He's beat the shit out of a lot of guys. He's a really good fighter. RoboCop, all these fights he has are so good. Now he's going to let a guy who's like 5'6", that's just chucking overhands and doing judo tosses beat him. Like, obviously it's a fight. There's always a chance of him getting hit with an overhand, but I don't believe the aura of Bruno. I think that he's constantly been brought in as a feeder for other guys and he's overperformed. Whereas Petrosyan, I mean, man, that guy is just really, really good. He's at a very high level. So I think he's going to smoke Bruno.
I'm kind of with Pierce on this. Like Petrosyan's good and he's very technical. He does all the right stuff and he has good cardio. Brunno, I don't think is as bad as people think. Like you watch him train, and we've seen him in fights where he shifts and switches stances and he draws people in. I think he's more calculated than people think. And he does have really good power. He has that death touch power. The more time he spends in the UFC, I think the more comfortable he's going to get. And yeah, Petrosyan is hittable, and like he's one of those guys where it's like you like him. There's nothing you could really say bad about him, and then I wouldn't be surprised to see Brunno knock him out. Like it's just one of those things. Like
of course,
yeah. And so I kind of lean Brunno on this one with nothing. I mean, a lot of these fights as in general, because we don't have our crystal ball out, we can't read the future. You're going, this is going to play out like Petrosyan is going to pick him apart with his superior kickboxing, or Bruno's going to hit him once and knock him out. And it's like, well, hindsight is 20/20 on both of those options.
You know what I actually feel is that this fight's going to get finished one way or another, because the type of fighter that Brunno is, he brings the action, and he's willing to open up to land his bombs, and that's obviously going to open him up for counters.
And his cardio is a bit suspect as well.
So and Petrosyan has shown good. I mean, honestly, you look at this, like going back to the old school, better cardio, better technical aspects, better size, better almost everything. The only thing you're banking on is that maybe his chin's gone and Brunno can land a big shot. Like, I'm going to take my chances at this close of a line on the guy who's just proven better, has beat way better competition. Just, I mean, almost losing to Stoltzfus is like, that's criminal. That's crazy.
That is true.
Get him paced down the stretch by Abus Magomedov. That might
crazy.
Be more crazy.
All right. You convinced me.
But I'll say one more.
Armenia.
I'll say one more thing. The under 2.5 there's pick 'em.
That's crazy
for someone in Brunno that's been to decision, I think, once in his career, which is pretty nuts.
What happened in the Danny Barlow fight? Was he trying to knock his block off and then got caught?
Dude,
instead?
Patterson just caught him.
Yeah, I mean that's clean.
The left hand that God ate the right hand that God.
Yeah,
But that's how I see this fight going. Is Bruno's going to try to load up and really crush him, because I think Brunno knows too. He's at a technical disadvantage and a size disadvantage. So what do you have to do? You have to land bombs, and it's going to open.
I mean, he could grapple. I mean, he is a black belt. I mean, Petrosyan's his grappling's a little bit suspect, so I wouldn't put it past him if he gets on top.
Yeah, and Bruno's takedowns and trips and his ground control are pretty good.
Okay, but can he do that for 15 minutes now is the issue.
Might not need to. He might get him out of there in 2 minutes.
Nah, you guys are tripping.
I don't know. I'm still torn on this one. I think I know what you mean by on a technical level, Armen is better.
We need to keep one for Armenia. Armenia's had a really bad run lately.
Stretch.
We had a pullout. We had a bad knockout with like a taunting knockout. That's embarrassing. So Armenia needs one to get like back in the fold.
All right, let's go Armenia. For Armenia.
All right, next we have Rei Tsuruya plus 164 versus Josh Van minus 189.
Pierce, go first on this one. He loves him some little Asians.
I love some Japanese jiu-jitsu, but yeah, I mean overall this is my second bet of the card. I bet Rei Tsuruya at about like plus 180 around that range. I just think it's very weird. I'm curious your opinion as well. How do you feel about like Iridium putting two of their prospects together in this type of matchup? I find that fascinating.
I find that to be every card, 10 people on a card. Like, I mean, Iridium's always
Tony Kelly talked about it last time.
Yeah, the guy's always getting 3 checks. So I mean, it's always Iridium versus Iridium all the way up. I mean, our guys are always fighting. Who did we just get booked? It was Haley. They asked to fight an Iridium guy. I don't want to say it because I don't know if it's announced. And then we said yes. And then he wanted the Mexico City card. And we said, like, hey, that's too soon. That was like, it's coming up.
That's at the end of the month.
Yeah. So I don't know if it'll end up happening. But no, I mean, that's the standard. So I don't think there's anything.
No, I just thought it was interesting. They're putting their two best prospects against each other. Honestly, just this matchmaking in general is just a little bit odd. You have someone in Rei Tsuruya who's probably one of Japan's next best prospects behind Tatsuro Taira, and someone in Van who's obviously, you know, he's built a fan base of his own. He's been putting on entertaining fights, but you're giving Van someone that honestly could be his kryptonite. You know, Van, I mean, yeah, this was 3 years ago. He's learning how to wrestle, but I always revert back to that Devin Jackson fight where Van is getting taken down, giving up the back. He's getting his back taken easily, and he got submitted in that fight. And I mean, I just look at his career. Like, the only other guy that he's fought that presents like a grappling threat is really Cody Djorden, and Cody gassed out.
That's not true, man. What about Felipe Buenas? Bunis.
Yeah, but Felipe death gassed after. I mean, he went so hard in that first round.
Okay, but so did Ray in his last fight against Carlos Hernandez.
But he didn't death gas.
I don't think
he went hard now. Like, I thought he was going to. And I was actually watching that thinking, oh, man. And then, honestly, like, he turned it on in the grappling in round 2 and 3. And I was shocked. That's actually the reason why I'm a little bit torn on this one, because of I was expecting him to death gas, and he didn't. And he's able to. The issue with Ray is that he purple belt jiu-jitsu it, and he goes too many submissions, trying for twisters, trying for this stuff, attacking leg locks, and then people just spin and scramble and find their way out of it. If he were to just keep it a little bit more simple, I'd really, really like him. But I think that's a kid who can grapple forever. He's been doing it forever. And he's like wiry and wiggly versus like holding and death gassing his way through it. He's almost like Tyra, where I think, we said that when Tyra first came in, we're like, oh, but it's cage wrestling. Oh, but it's this. Oh, but it's that. And wasn't it actually Carlos Candelario as well? Was his first, which are very similar opponents to Carlos and, but I don't think Ray's going to death gas. I think the issue, though, is his stand-up is bad. Yeah. It's fucking atrocious. And his chin is up and he's awkward. And Van is going to just attack the shit out of him. Especially the body work. That said, Van is such a slow starter that he's almost guaranteed to give up a round, especially against Ray, which you can't do that against a guy who's sticky and is going to hold you like that. So I'm with you. Actually, I think Ray is going to steal this in a very but this is a ground control damage type of situation. And Josh Van, the thing is, Josh Van does all of the right stuff and Ray does all of the wrong stuff. Josh Van defends the takedown. If he does get taken down, he gets to the cage, he sits up. He does all of the right stuff, but I think Ray is just like Tetsuro Taira. I think he's just a good enough grappler right now. I think in a year, I think Joshua Van's takedown defense is good enough to just defend it. And right now, I think I wouldn't be surprised for Ray it's either a Ray decision or Joshua Van TKO.
I mean, I wouldn't put it past him to submit him. I mean, as someone that has his experience with black belts in the gym myself, I can tell a good twister when I see one, and it's
Did any of us twister you?
I think I might have done it to you, but we
don't
want to talk too much about that. Do you think Josh Van is going to know how to defend a twister?
I don't think twisters are real, and I think if Ray goes for a twister on Josh Van, he's going to lose.
I don't know. Carlos.
No, he's too small to hit a twister. That's the thing. Carlos is my size. I fought Carlos. He's 5'7", just like me. It's easy to get your legs in on him. Josh Van is, what is he, 5'3", 5'4"? Yeah. It's too hard and that's actually why his grappling tends to be so good, is he is so compact.
There's nothing to grab.
There's nothing to grab. And so that I'm going to go, I like Josh a lot here, a lot. And the reason being is that kid is growing in confidence every single fight. The fact that he looked at Felipe and was like, no, I'm going to take you down. And he keeps making things where you hear Bisping going, why is he doing this? Why is he grappling with the grappler? Why is he grappling with the black belt? Because he wants to prove something. He wants to show something. He's so calm. He's so relaxed. And then, we're having this control versus damage argument. I mean,
I think it's more than control. This is someone that will attack chokes 24/7.
That's fine. Josh has shown so much composure in everything that he's ever been in. He hurt Djorden bad, who's a much better wrestler. And
are you insane?
What?
Do you know Ray's amateur wrestling credentials?
I don't think that's comparable grappling. Yeah. I just think I don't think you touched on this, but I think him beating Mark Klamaco is incredibly impressive. And that's someone on the regional scene that many guys struggle to take down. And we saw Ray control him for 2 rounds.
I don't think that Klamaco is crazy hard to take down. I think why Klamaco is so good is because he actively goes for takedowns on people. And that makes his game so much better. Klamaco is really similar to Josh Van, but Josh Van moves a lot better. And Josh Van's hands are much more active, and he works the body a lot more.
This is going to come down to cardio in round 3. If Ray can keep that pace, or if Josh Van because Josh Van is not going to get tired. He's super calm.
And he hits the body a lot.
He's going to rip that body.
How would you feel if you said Josh Van's growing in confidence? How would you feel if he shot a takedown or jumped a leg lock on Tsuruya?
Fine. Dude, I think it is so hard. You like these really flashy, crazy submissions. I think the best jiu-jitsu guys in the world don't do any of that. You look at I don't know a good example to use, but those guys aren't doing that kind of stuff. Look at Pat Sabatini. I know you guys are going to grill me for that. We were just having this conversation.
Sabatini's phenomenal.
He's a phenomenal grappler.
Not boring, but not
basic.
He's basic.
Super basic.
But how many times do you see Sean Brady How many times do you see a Pat Sabatini going for twisters, leg locks, heel hooks? It's almost never. So that's where I think we were having this conversation earlier. The people who actually fight versus the people who don't. I think Rey is phenomenal. Rey is going to beat a ton of guys because his grappling is crazy sticky. I just think Josh Van is getting to such a level. He's not going to get submitted. He's going to stay calm no matter what. He's a 125 C-Rod. If you really look at it, he's so calm. He's going to walk up to you and he's going to batter you. And his body work is something. And the way that he touches you and Rey's liability on the feet, dude, I think Rey could win 4 minutes, 50 seconds and Josh gets up and tags him with a 3-piece. That's his round now.
I'll just say one last thing. Like, I just think this is a 50-50 fight, and you're giving me like plus 180 on a guy that I think's as talented as Rey. It's like, I feel like that's just
well, this is the easiest blueprint of all time. I mean, every Josh Van fight is just like this. You start the fight with no bets, you wait 1 round, and then you crash Josh Van.
Yeah.
And honestly, and that's the safest way to play it, because if he's getting mauled and taken down, and you're like, shit.
The odds are going to improve in your favor anyway.
Well,
as he's getting mauled.
You just pass, or you bet on Rey, like if he's dominating that hard. Because the way that the odds are always going to work is the odds, obviously, if Rey comes out and just destroys him round 1, the odds will close in a lot. But I think the odds also account for the fact that Josh has great cardio and he's going to push a pace. So you're going to be able to hit the Rey live line if you need that.
It's a great fight. I'm excited to see what happens.
All right, let's move along. We got a shitload to do, and I have a shitload to do.
All
right. Next up, last fight of the prelims, we have Curtis Blaydes minus 310 versus Rizvan Kuniev plus 260.
Brandon, you go first.
Fuck, this is the one I didn't tape.
I'll go first.
Oh, you go first.
Man, I think Rizvan is a big, slow guy. And, the thing is, like, Curtis Blaydes' chin is just glass. It's like, that shit is glass. But he's a heavyweight. He's fast. He has a good jab. He can wrestle his ass off, and he has phenomenal cardio. So now you're banking on
the chin,
on a death, just a dead man. And I don't know that Rizvan is that guy. I think Curtis can get it done.
Why you laugh?
Why is this guy getting Curtis Blaydes in his UFC debut?
That's crazy.
Right? I mean, it's just nuts.
He's a cage pusher.
Yeah.
He's boring as shit.
He's boring, and he's not, like, he's kind of slow. He has decent defensive takedowns. You see people shoot on him. He turns. He does the right stuff. But Blaydes actually, man, it's funny because Blaydes' striking isn't bad. He just has that chin. Like, he has a good jab. He actually moves well. It's just that chin. So give me Curtis Blaydes all day. If he completely mauls him and TKOs him on the ground, it wouldn't surprise me. And it also wouldn't surprise me if we go to Curtis Blaydes' funeral. But no, Curtis Blaydes could be fighting Joshua Van, and it wouldn't surprise me if we go to Curtis Blaydes' funeral the next day. So give me Curtis Blaydes all day. It's scary. It's a scary one, but yeah.
Yeah, I think Blaydes is going to be scared of getting pushed up against the cage. But I didn't look too much into this one just because I kind of remember Kuniev, and I'm like, I don't want to waste my time sitting through this.
It's boring.
Yeah, but I'll just go with Blaydes, honestly, just based on the experience and just Kuniev hasn't proven himself at all.
Yeah.
He fought a guy's last fight whose nickname was Tatas. That's all you need to know.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on Blaydes too. I remember Kuniev from back in the day fighting in PFL, Contender Series, stuff like that. I think Blaydes is leagues above him. Again, this is going to be one of the watch. This is going to happen. I swear to God. Blaydes is so much better on paper everywhere, and then he's going to get chinned somehow, some way.
It's fighting's crazy. All right, let's move on. King Green, Maurício, Ruffy.
Green is plus 360. Ruffy is minus 460.
See, these are odds. I think Bobby should be plus 7,000. I think this should be the Morono line right here. 100%.
Tell us why.
Bobby's old, and he doesn't have the chin that he used to. But people have figured him out. And if you watch Bobby, who did he fight last? Who the hell was it?
Was it Miller?
Was it Jalen Turner, or was there something?
No, it was Patty. So he fought Patty, and then, of course, he fought Miller. And then Turner, that was rough. But Bobby's best when he is backing up and making people swing and miss. We talked about it, Chris Gutierrez. Like, Bobby used to come in and feint that he's going to throw, and we're there. I'm in the pocket. Let's go. And then he moves away, and he moves away. And he gets you swinging and missing. Boom. And he goes. And we've talked about this a million times with Dominic Cruz and Cody Garbrandt. Dominic Cruz he comes in, he feints, and he uses his rhythm and his timing. You swing and miss. And Cody Garbrandt, Dominic Cruz, Dominic. And we saw how that happened. Well, lately, Bobby Green has stopped being patient, and he is like just a little eager, and he goes in, and you watch even with Pimblett. He's swinging just off balance, going forward, and Pimblett, chin up in the air, fucking Irish braids, is sliding back, not getting hit, and one punching him. And so, sorry, that was weird. Did
you guys touch?
Yeah, he's trying to make an advance on me.
Dude, you can sue the shit out of him. You'll take everything he owns.
I already got a couple lawsuits underway for you.
On the way for
us and OSHA are coming after you guys for the way you treat Gabe in the back.
The conditions are really bad. They're really bad.
That's why there are no cameras back here.
Yeah. But anyway, so Ruffy, you've got a guy who's just big, strong, at a great team, who's going to Bobby Green. And he's going to feint and move, and he's bladed, and he comes out, and he's just waiting for that pullback right hand. And I think Bobby Green is going to lunge in, and Ruffy's going to pull back, and right hand, and down goes the king.
So like the Barlow fight last week.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm just curious what you guys think. Do you guys think Ruffy's the worst out of all the fighting nerd bunch?
No, I don't think so.
No, I don't think so at all. I think he's just the most, the least engaging.
You think he's better than Prates and Gene Silva?
Oh, okay. They're all good in different ways.
Yeah, I don't know. Honestly, that's a hard one. You're like, well, who's better? Montana, Brady, Steve Young, or Aaron Rodgers.
I thought you were going to say Montana De La Rosa or Luana Carolina. I was like, let's go again, one more time.
No, but you've got these they're all really good. And I don't mean to compare all these fighting nerds to those greats, because they haven't proven themselves yet as greats, but they're all very good. I haven't seen one who's like, oh, that one sucks.
What about Brunno Brazil?
What about Ricardo Ramos?
He just got there. He didn't grow up a nerd. He's posing as one.
But Piers, I think this is what it is. We all last fight when he fought Yontop. I think this is the issue, especially with sports betting and just in general. Everybody was expecting him to go out there and kill a fat Yontop, especially after you see the weigh-in photo. He's fat as hell, asking for catch weights. Everything was a mess. And we've seen Ruffy look so good in the fight before. So I think our expectations were way up here. Honestly, it's like watching the boxing fight last weekend, Gervonta, right? When he fought Lamont Roach. Lamont was moving up a weight class, and we're going, oh, what round does he do it? He'll probably knock him out in the first 6 rounds, right? But then when he doesn't do that, and then when he goes to a decision, and now he gets a draw, and now everyone's like, well.
Robbery, by the way.
Yeah, I know. I think Lamont should have won. But that being said, it's not like Gervonta didn't look good. He is one of the best in the world. There's no doubt about that. He is incredible, even for me, who's been a hater all the time. But he didn't match the expectations that we had of him in that fight. So now his stock comes way, way down because he didn't perform the way he was supposed to. So Yontop, dude, he rocked Yontop so bad. He had him all busted up. It's not like he didn't do damage. He just didn't finish him.
The other thing is, I think early on that, when you heard him first, he went in for the kill, and I think he gassed himself out a little bit. And then I think he calmed himself down to not gas out. And I think that's smart.
And I think we're forgetting, too, Jim Miller hurt Bobby Green badly. Yeah. I think we all had a bunch of Jim Miller bets in that fight, and I had Jim Miller knockout, and he sent Bobby a little bit wobbly.
And let's not forget that Jared Gordon was outboxing Bobby Green until the weird.
Ruffy is so fast and so dynamic. Yeah. I think he's going to touch that chin one time. I think Bobby's out.
The under is a big number for the 1.5, I think. I would have to check real quick.
Yeah. Honestly, I just think it's such an overreaction to his last fight when you have that Peruvian face tattoo chin. Dude, life has already given that guy enough, man. He's not going out like that.
One thing I'll say with Ruffy is he's a phenomenal fighter. Great takedown defense, great in and out movement, but he does play around a lot. And I guess when we're looking at this fight, it's you think he's going to finish him or not. It's just I would be a bit careful considering he is a showman. He is someone that will probably just he could entertain the fans.
Of course, but now showman show, and I think this is his time. You have an old chinny guy that fights with his hands down, and I don't know what their heights
lunges in. He's literally jumping in with 1-2s with his chin in the air now. I'm not even kidding.
Coming off knockouts, coming off being put to sleep, coming off getting rocked every
coming
fight.
Off being 39.
And now he's fighting the best guy out of all of them.
Yeah, you can get the under 1.5 at plus 185, which if Ruffy's going to get it done, I think it would be early. If anything, honestly.
Yeah, most likely.
Yeah, because otherwise you'll settle into the fight. Yep. It's not like Bobby gasses.
Okay, cool. Next, we have Amanda Lemos plus 121 versus Iasmin Lucindo minus 141.
I didn't watch this, but I'm going lemonade all day.
You love her.
I love her.
Okay, be honest. How many times have you to Amanda Lemos?
Who hasn't? Every day.
Pierce?
That's it.
So I wake up in the morning.
Yeah.
Get it
That's
cranking.
when we wake up.
I just have a
Drink a
poster
glass
on
of lemonade.
my ceiling.
Yeah.
She, for a lesbian, she's sexy as hell.
I love her boxing. I like her boxing.
I thought you were going to say you love her body.
Oh,
honestly, her body's not too bad.
Yeah.
Come on.
She just has such a, I just like her. I like her style. I like her jab. I find it rare. Years ago, there's a woman, Lucia Riker, who is a phenomenal Dutch kickboxer and then boxer. And I remember, and there's actually, might be a movie called Shadow Boxers is what I think it is. Like the early 2000s, there's a documentary on women's boxing, professional boxing. She was kind of one of the stars of it. And she was actually the bad guy on $1 Million Baby. So that is actually Lucia Riker. She, like, you see like we always used to say, like, punch like a girl. And you see most women don't punch like men. And then Lucia Riker, you're just like, oh my gosh, like that is a specimen of a human. And Lemos' boxing reminds me of that, and I just appreciate it. I appreciate the technicality and the physicality of her boxing. So I'm always going to go Lemos to the stretch.
She's like Brandon. She's like an Autumn Norden with the hands, isn't she?
No, Autumn is in a separate category. Come on, shout out Autumn Norden. We love you.
Yeah, I guess I'm like Santino now. You know, it hurts my head too much to tape women's MMA nowadays. So yeah. I'll just go with Lemos just because, like, Lucindo.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's go.
She's good. She's a good-looking young man.
Yeah,
so let's go.
You guys are crazy. Just a little bit critical. I think Lemos an underdog here.
Mm-hmm. Plus 120, I think. Plus 115.
Dude, how bad did Lucindo look in the last fight? I get it was.
Wait, is that a rhetorical question? Because I don't know because I didn't watch it.
You really didn't watch it?
I don't know. Maybe I did. Maybe I didn't.
I'll never miss a
Marina Rodriguez. She didn't look that well at all.
No, I would never miss a Marina Rodriguez fight. She is like the most fun woman in the world.
Yeah, until you take her down and then it's an
No, she's still fun because she's going to get in your face and talk some shit. She's awesome.
I'm confused.
I just think Lucindo looked awful. Like, she won the first couple rounds based off takedowns and then really did nothing with it. Wasn't she like headbutting her and shit in the middle of that fight? Like, there was just some weirdness with that. She looked very just generally disinterested. And then I look at Lemos, who obviously finished Marina Rodriguez like a couple times, just beat the hell out of her. I think her physicality, her boxing, her power, her takedown defense, like, she's making a lot of the right decisions as of late. Dude, Lucindo, I just don't think has anything for her. Her fight with Hauergui was incredible. I was like, oh, this girl is going to be a star. She's really that good. And then every fight after that's been very, to me, lackluster. I don't know what happened to her. Now she's going to fight the best girl she's ever fought, who's been around the block, who's beat every different style. I mean, she just beat Mackenzie Dern. Should have been a knockout. We just talked about that. She had Mackenzie fetal position crying middle of the fight, and they're like, continue. You got the Cody Brundage treatment. But I don't know. I think this is an insane for Lemos to be an underdog here.
All right.
These next three fights are bangers. In the featured bout, we have Jalin Turner plus 101 versus Ignacio Bahamondes minus 121.
Who wants to go first on this? Anybody?
Yeah, I'll go for it. This is a phenomenal fight. You know, they're finally finding two people that can match each other in their size between Jalin Turner and Ignacio. And
they're also the same height, too.
What did you think I was referring to by size? Because one of them's not up for debate. We're using context clues here. But I guess just with Jalin, it's I wanted my heart and
your reaction is cracking me up right now.
No, dude, you back to back, man, with Pierce with the jokes when he said she's a fine looking young man. She's a fine looking young man.
Camuela's messed with a couple of tarantulas back in the day. But
we like to have fun here.
Oh.
All right, besides the fact
I heard a girl say that one time.
Oh, don't you start with me, man. Don't you start.
Yeah, I think Jalin Turner is going to fuck him up. I guess just with me, my issue, I want to bet Jalin, but I'm a little bit hesitant just because he's a confidence-based fighter. And when he's not, there's many instances where he's a great hammer and a bad nail. And overall, I think Ignacio is a great fighter. You know, he switches stances really well. He's someone that's very active. But I just think if Jalen's able to walk him down and really, like, put an emphasis on his power, like, I feel like he's someone that if they meet in the pocket, I think he's going to be the one knocking down Ignacio. It's just, I worry a little bit about the cardio. Jalin has slowed down in the past, but I don't know if that's a credit to the weight cuts. I know he struggles to make 155, but I mean, I just think overall, just like you got someone in Jalin who's fought Gamrot, who's fought Hooker, and then someone in Ignacio who hasn't really had that step up in competition. I just think looking at it, I think while they're both great strikers, I think we could see a levels fight here and someone in Jalin really walk him down and really hurt him to the body. You know, Jalen's got a great teep kick, and that's something that he is very good at using. And if he could maybe hurt Ignacio to the body and finish him with that left hand up top, you know, I think Jalin could get the finish here.
Brandon, what do you think?
What were the odds again?
It's pick 'em. Or Jalen's a slight underdog, I think, maybe plus 100.
Yeah, Turner's plus 100. Bahamondes minus 121.
You know what's cool, Tino? After, because Bahamondes fought at the Sphere last time.
Mm-hmm.
He had that crazy knockout. Who did he knock out against?
Manuel Torres.
Yep. That's right. And the whole place was going crazy for all the Mexis. And then he comes in, knocks it out. Pride of, was he from Chile? Something like that. He was actually sitting right in front of us after the knockout. Because I came and sat with you, and then, he was just right there in front of us. Yeah. And the girl that I was with at the time was like, didn't he just fight? And he's just watching his fight on repeat. You know what you do after you win. So it was cool to see him just like, and his coach is just relieved, beating the Mexican on the Mexican Independence Day was awesome.
I think they went like 1-8 on that card, the Mexicans.
Oh, awful.
It was
started off with Hauergui and just went downhill from there. Yep. Pierce, I think you're right. Like Jalin, you're right. That's a perfect way to put it. He's a confidence-based fighter. When he almost killed Moicano, but then didn't and realized he still had to continue fighting, I think that messed with him a lot. And then the more Moicano would grab a hold of him and touch him and move him, you could see just him starting to power down each and every time. But I think this fight is so different. Even for Bahamondes, he's really good against guys that are going to try to grapple him, that he's going to defend the grappling and start pacing them, touching them. But I think that Jalin is so much more dynamic. I think he hits a lot harder. And I think that Bahamondes is a bit of a glass cannon. He does not take damage well.
He got hurt against Klein.
Well, and he got hurt against your boy Magdesi.
Yeah.
Magdesi beat the hell out of him. And I remember when he came into the UFC, right? Because he fought on Contender Series against that short little fat guy, which was one of the craziest mismatches in
that was wild.
Contender history. You told me about that because you were there. He fought like a janitor, like something like that.
How does that happen? Then you get Junior Cortez, who gets just murderers row.
Peyton Talbot and Christian Rodriguez. Right. Yeah, and Bahamondes literally got to fight a guy who's 5'7" fighting middleweight. You know what I mean? It's like crazy. He gets hit a lot. And he gets hit a lot by guys that are short. And a lot of damage. And I think Jalin is by far the best striker he will have fought, with the most power and the most confidence, weirdly. Maybe he's not as confident now just based on his last few fights, but I think that chin for chin, Jalen's is going to hold up a lot better than Bahamondes.
Yeah, he also doesn't have the grappling threat to worry about, which is why
this is going to be a straight kickboxing fight.
If anything, Jalin will grappling upside. I mean, we saw Klein take him down and hold him down for 2 rounds, so it's like.
And Jalen's a crafty grappler. Actually, he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu, but he's got good submissions.
I disagree. And when I first looked at the fight, I was like, "Oh, this is a Turner like layup. We're done here." And then actually watching Turner more, first of all, he's very hittable. He doesn't worry about damage at all. Like he's almost like so in your face, ready to go that he actually gets hit. You watch him with Hooker and he got hit a lot, but Hooker just didn't have the power on him to do the damage that he needed to. The difference is if you watch Manuel Torres in his last fight, when the way that he was stepping in southpaw versus orthodox, he was coming straight in, and you look at Bahamondes, who just slides back and fires that right hand. And the difference, though, is Turner, actually, if you watch him against Hooker, as he's entering, he actually beats the foot really well. And so I don't think he's going to get hit the way that Bahamondes was able to take out Torres. I don't think it's going to be the same as Turner. That said, Turner's hands are kind of low, and he doesn't fight. It's weird. He does fight long without being long, but sometimes he doesn't. So when people are attacking him, he fights really long and he knows how to do it. When he is attacking, he's actually kind of lunging in and really hittable and not long at all. It's just offensively. The thing though is that I love Jalin Turner, and I think he's a great fighter. On a technical level, I think a lot of it, again, I was like, oh, Jalin Turner wins this. So I'm watching film going, how does Turner win it? How are we doing this? So I was very Jalin Turner on this. And then I'm looking at him get hit, and I'm looking at him not overly technical, but fast and athletic and long and tall. And then I started thinking about Bahamondes, who he does have really good hand, like his placement. He's moving out. I think he's actually a way more technical striker with better fundamentals. I think Jalin Turner is just more athletic.
I would agree with that 100%.
Quit beating around the bush. We know what you want to say.
Yeah, no, but that's right. So so I'm doing that. And then all of a sudden I'm thinking about Turner rushing in and going, and Turner has lost a lot of fights. And his only win in his last few fights was against Bobby Green, which again, he's fighting murderer's row of people. Like, so don't.
Yeah, it's not even close competition.
Not even close. But Bahamondes is going to be the tall, long, rangy guy throwing deep kicks and sliding away. Turner generally is used to sliding away in fighting long. And I think Turner's going to be the one coming in. And I think we're going to see him get countered a lot and picked apart on the outside. Then on the inside, I think Bahamondes has just better technical boxing. I think Bahamondes is going to win a decision. And yeah, it pains me to say that.
Also, last thing to add, I like Bahamondes. I think he's a good kid. If he would win this fight and continue to winning, I would be so happy for him because I think he's legitimately a good person, a good training partner. I think he's an awesome kid. I'll just say this. So last thing about this is that Jalen's camp is a mess, like a total disaster.
It always is. He's always kind of, maybe I'm going to go out to another camp and do another thing.
Always. So you guys have to consider when you have most people, actually Pierce and I were talking about this. There's only one gym in California that I really like and respect, and that's CMMA. That's with Chad George. They got, Victor Henry, Taco Padilla. They have all those guys. I love that gym. They do have Ozzy Diaz as well, but separate. Jalin is like, okay, this guy's my coach, that guy's my coach. And I'm gonna be honest with you guys, none of those coaches are really good coaches. And sometimes they're only specialists. So pretty much Jalin is like self-trained, just kind of doing his own thing. Whereas Bahamondes, VFS.
Yeah, he's training with Bilal. He's
Valley Flow.
Valley Flow. He's training with these really good guys. And the other thing is Bahamondes is getting better and better and better every time out.
He is.
And Jalin, I think, is the same fighter he was, but he's fighting tougher opponents. I don't see the improvement in him. Man, give me the young guy.
Shit, you're swaying me, man.
I mean, I think we're also like, I get your points on Ignacio. He's probably cleaner, but we're like, he's not a student of the Floyd Mayweather school of striking defense. Like, he's just as hittable.
That is the thing, is they're going to just test chin for chin.
I think they're just going to crash. It's going to be like a car crash, and I think Turner's just honestly hits harder. But if it gets extended, I agree. Ignacio probably has the better cardio. It
was a good live bet opportunity then. I think you could probably have a good amount on maybe Jalin finish only, and then kind of work your way into another bet. I
would just say Turner money line and get off after round one.
Yeah, you're right. It's close enough. Yeah. All right.
In the co-main, we have Justin Gaethje plus 123 versus Rafael Fiziev minus 143.
Pierce, your thoughts on this co-main?
I just want to talk to the people. There's really disgusting people out here that wanted Gamrot versus Gaethje instead of Fiziev versus Gaethje, which is...
Why are you saying his name like that?
Who are you talking about?
Say again. Who versus who?
Gamrot versus Gaethje.
You picking up on all that? Why are you saying it like that?
What are you talking about?
You're like Gaethje.
Gaethje?
Gaethje. Yeah, gay.
Justin.
I thought you were trying to like diss him or something.
What?
You're like Gaethje.
He's a gay G.
He is a gay G.
Gay G. He's also a gay G.
Well, what I was just going to say is this is a phenomenal fight. I'm glad they were able to put this. I think it's a better fight than Dan Hooker and Justin.
Oh, 100%.
Like, honestly, hot take or not, the first fight, I think Fiziev won 2-1, and I don't really understand why people are saying Justin clearly won that. And I guess when I'm looking at this fight, this is my third bet on the card. I bet Fiziev at like minus 130, and I just think Justin's coming off a career worst KO. I don't know if you saw the clip, Santino, on Instagram of him getting knocked out. It looks
and shaking.
It was terrifying, and it's like he's 36 years old. Is he really going to come back the same fighter that he was? I mean, these two fought, what was it, like 2.5 years ago? But
you got to remember, Fiziev is coming off an ACL injury too.
Yeah, but he's also been in Thailand for the past year and a half, and
rehabbing.
They got good doctors down there. That's all I'm going to say.
No, I wouldn't say good doctors.
Good pharmacists.
I don't think so. That's just a lot of drugs.
I just think overall it's like Fiziev, like even against Gamrot before the injury, he was looking phenomenal. But I guess just looking at this fight, he just has more weapons, and if he doesn't get tired, it's a 3-round fight, which is better for Fiziev. If he doesn't get tired, I think he's just going to be, I think the youth's really going to show here, and someone that just has more weapons on the feet. But yeah, overall, just maybe if you think Fiziev's getting tired, maybe live bet Gaethje, but minus 140 I think is a gift. This guy's a lot more dangerous, and he's a lot more faster than Justin right now.
You kind of got like quiet and somber on this one.
It's sad. I don't want to see Justin go out like this, but that's the game of MMA.
I'm with you. I think Fiziev is going to blow him out. I've always kind of thought of Justin. Justin's a really weird case because he's very technical and he is very, very good and makes a ton of reads, but also he's an ape at the same time. It's like the weirdest combination. He talks like an ape, acts like an ape, but he is very smart at the same time. It's the most fascinating case I've ever seen. But you're right. He's 36 now. He gets rocked almost every fight that he's in. He loves wars. I think Fiziev's chin is better. I think Fiziev's striking, reflexes, power. I think everything is on the side of Fiziev. I guess the only worry would be short notice, him taking the fight if his cardio will be there. We've talked about this for a long time. Fiziev's cardio is phenomenal for the style that he fights. I mean, everything is dynamic and huge energy for every strike, every punch. Maybe the ACL will actually be the best thing that ever happened to him because maybe he stops doing a lot of the dynamic things. And because he makes good read. I think that's the best thing about Fiziev is his eyes. He sees everything coming. That's why he can hit the lean backs to get out of the way of kicks and all these dynamic things. So what if he just cleaned up his game a little bit? Instead of leaning back, what if he checks a kick? Imagine. What if he just slips and rips? What if he does all this stuff instead of huge, giant motions is how I feel. I like Fiziev a lot here.
I don't think it's a cardio issue at all. I don't even think it's the way he fights or anything like that. I think if you take a look at that fight, their last fight, he was winning that fight, piecing him apart until he got poked in the eye. He was not like brutally battering him, but he was feinting and moving and piecing him up. Then he got poked in the eye, and that was in the second round. If you watch,
come on, an eye poke has never had an impact on a fight. Be real.
It's true. If you watch him after that eye poke, he wipes his eye 4 more times that round. It was really bothering him, and so then he's getting hit while he can't really see, and he's just, you could tell that he was a little disrupted. Then toward the end of that round, and I think in the third round, I think he was like, man, I got to start swinging and going. And I think that changed the way that from the eye poke on, he fought differently. He was no longer touching and moving and being technical. It was wiping his eye and getting hit for a while and then trying to swing back. And then I think he was trying to get it back afterwards. And I think that really changed the dynamic of the fight and his momentum and his rhythm because of it. And so I think if there's nothing weird like that, I see him just kind of sticking and moving, just, like he was prior. And then again, yeah, Justin had the knockout. He even, the thing that I really like about Justin, is that he comes in, like when people go to throw on him, he shells up like he's going to shell, and he comes in and just starts swinging. I love it. I love the way that he shells and throws. The other thing, and we're talking about technical striking earlier, and we're talking about stance switches and this and that. Everyone wants to talk about stance switches and these angles and this and that. The thing that both of them do really well, and this is technical striking, not even technical striking, this is advanced high-level striking, is you watch Fiziev. It doesn't matter the stance he's in, doesn't matter really what he's doing, but the way that his rhythm, how he's coming in, and he's like feinting in and out, but he's not doing these hard feints. It's like there's a rhythm, like, oh, I'm fighting. Oh, I'm here to go. No, I'm not. Oh, I'm here and I'm not. And it's it's a swaying movement. And then he's always ready and always able to counter and fire back. On the other side that Justin is as well. He's nowhere near as pretty to watch as Fiziev. I mean, he's swinging, knocking himself off balance, but what he does do is he times stuff well and does the same thing. If you watch him, he looks like he's shelling up, but he doesn't just cover up, wait for them to swing, and then swing and miss on the exit. He covers as he moves, and he's moving his body into position to fire back and return in the pocket before people are able to exit. And that is fighting. That's high level fighting. Is not. It's not like bad to step out or angle or this and that or switch stances. Like none of that stuff I think is wrong, but people get wowed by the stance switching and the wild stuff.
TJ Dillashaw forever and always.
Yes, versus just
enamored by
Fiziev.
it.
And Fiziev is phenomenal, and he does switch stances, and he does do all the flashy stuff. So don't get me wrong. I know that he does that, and I appreciate all of that. But what I find to be very high level is the way that he teases that line and gets you to throw. His
baseline fundamentals are such a high level that it allows him to do the extras.
Yes, and you see that in boxing a lot. If you watch boxing, people are not static. Their head's moving, but their head isn't like left, right, in a cadence. It's like, oh, I'm here, I'm not there. Where's my read? I'm always underneath my feet. So when it is time to go, they can go. And you see these really high level guys who are doing all of this flashy stuff, but then when it's time to go, they've got to plant and swing, and that little timing differential is gone. And so I really appreciate Fiziev's striking, but it's the little nuances of his striking that I find phenomenal. And then, of course, his combo's back. But I like Fiziev here by a lot.
You think he gets the finish, Coach?
I don't know, man. I think Justin's only been finished once. So just because you get knocked out once doesn't mean that you're always going to get knocked out.
But he also got knocked out by a guy with almost no knockouts.
Yeah, but he also was like, I mean, I don't know. He got knocked out by Max. I don't know. I don't know if I would call that. I think it's probably more likely a 3-round war.
All right. Finally, in the main event, we have Alex Pereira minus 119 versus Magomed Ankalaev minus 101.
Who's going here? Who's starting?
I'll go first, then we'll go Pierce, then we'll finish with you.
Okay,
and then that'll
sounds
be the
good.
show. I'm going to keep this one really short. I think that Ankalaev is really that good. Pereira is amazing. He's got all the aura. Everybody in the world loves him and adores him so much. Weirdly, I feel like this could be maybe his retirement fight in a weird way. I know no one has even talked about that, but he's getting older now. He's like 36, something like that. The dude is having fun. He is just running through every woman in every town that he ever goes to, just line them up, having a good time. I know that dude loves a fight. You can tell that guy just loves a fight. That is in like his DNA. That is what he's about. I think he's either going to do specialty fights from now on, just like one-off super mega fights.
Are you talking about boxing Usyk? I thought I heard something about
shit, if he boxes Usyk, that's a rough day for him. He's always had shin issues, always had a liability with his shin issues. He always fights hands down. His grappling is a big, major concern. I can't do the aura stuff anymore. Like, I can't go, oh man, he just has the aura. He's going to find a way. I think that Ankalaev is a really educated striker. He's really good. I think at any point when he gets hurt, gets touched, he can grapple and he will have a lot of success. I think his striking is phenomenal too. And I think at any point, either one of them can go down. I'm going to choose the guy that has one clear gaping advantage, and he could fight safe on the feet too. I mean, we just saw Khalil Roundtree go rounds with Pereira and not go down for a long time. And he does work his way into fights, but Khalil has said outright, I will never grapple. I'm only going to strike. You have an entire new dimension in this fight. The only guy that he's going to fight that actually can wrestle at that caliber. And I know everyone's like, he's a striking Russian. And he spent so much time in Dagestan, especially in the amateur level, wrestling and grinding and doing that stuff. He is capable of it. Will he? I don't know. But I think that he's got a lot more skills as a complete MMA fighter than Alex Pereira. I'm going to go Magomed Ankalaev here.
Santino, how do you feel about a 28-year-old man talking about aura?
I don't even know what these things mean anymore.
We need to grab a mirror because this guy has said it every single time too. How old is he? 49?
Holy fuck, man.
You got very offended by that.
Yes.
Hey,
I'm not the one that said it. Why are you attacking me?
Yeah. This is a great fight. I find it very difficult to give like a detailed breakdown on these high-level title fights because there's like these guys are so good that it's hard to really poke holes in each other's game. But I mean, obviously we know that Magomed could hit takedowns. But that's the thing. The dude seems like an idiot, if I'm being honest. So it's like he's gone on the record saying, I want to strike with Pereira. I mean, I don't think he can hang on the feet with Pereira. I mean, Alex is not like he's like untouchable on the feet. We saw Khalil rock him. Magomed, his boxing is very good, but obviously, like when you have this fight.
Can I share one thing? So we used to have this guy at our gym, Shimon Morais. Very good technical kickboxer. And it was hilarious hearing him talk about Alex. Were you there for that? He goes, yeah, one time we took seminar with Alex Pereira, and he goes, everything the guy is just technically awful. It's horrible. Everything he does, the way he kicks, the way he punches, everything is completely wrong. Everything. But man, he's just special the way he hits and punches and kicks. So it's funny. I think he can technically absolutely hang with Alex, but Alex just has otherworldly power.
It's honestly that calculated pressure that he brings. It's intimidating. And I just think Magomed, if he goes for the takedowns, I mean, obviously, this is the guy that's been the boogeyman of the division. This is someone the UFC's been protecting Alex from, and it's gotten to a point where you can't deny Magomed. And I guess just in general, like, he's the underdog here, which, just looking at it in retrospect, is like, this is the guy that the UFC has not wanted to fight Alex, and you're saying he's the underdog. It's just something like... Part of me wants to put a big bet on Magomed, but then at the same time, it's like, can we trust this guy to be smart? Because, I mean, these big Russians, they're not the smartest up here in the brain. But, yeah, I think Magomed's going to beat him up really bad. But with the grappling, but I don't know if I want to bet it, but it's definitely something I'm considering.
You just pissed off our entire huge Russian audience, dude.
Bro, did a Russian guy take your girl, man? What's going on?
No, a big Russian.
Big Russian.
Specifically.
Yeah, the small Russians fine, nice and normal.
Yeah,
really
they're
intelligent.
cool people.
Big Russians just dumb. No, you hit it. Ankalaev is dumb. I think he is, and he has no fight IQ. And we've seen that before in the Ratchich fight. He didn't shoot once, I don't believe. But that was also a very close fight. I mean, I thought he won it, but it wasn't like he wasn't hurting Ratchich. He was just pushing him backwards and kind of doing it. He doesn't shoot. His fight IQ with who did
Thiago Santos, is that the one you're talking about?
No, it was the
Jan Blachowicz.
Jan. And Jan is just like calf kicking him, and and then he didn't adjust and make any of the right reads, and then he lost a freaking title. Didn't lose the title, but lost the opportunity to win.
I don't
the
think
title.
he's dumb. I think he's arrogant.
But he waited till the last round in that fight.
Well, when I say dumb, I mean I don't know if somebody's smart or not. It's all fight IQ. And arrogant, whether you're arrogant, whether you do the right things, whether you make the wrong reads, whether you have an extra chromosome, I don't know. All I know is that you could shoot and you choose not to, and you could do things and you choose not to. Like, I don't know the reason. Maybe he's in fucking Mensa. Maybe he's, deserves to get shot for
He's actually
stupidity.
an engineer on the side. Did you know that?
And so who knows? But what I do know is that Pereira gets hit. And he gets hit with left hands, and he gets hit down the middle. And you saw that with Roundtree. What dropped him was actually a hook off of like a weird spin, whatever. But man, Roundtree, that left hand was like an inch away from his face about 100 times, and Pereira just barely gets out of the way. The thing that Pereira does too is he reaches. But like you said, I mean, there's the aura, there's the Pierce, you said that, right?
Realistically,
I said intimidating.
He's got a different type. We were talking about John Silva the other day or earlier today, and just how he's laughing and having such a good time. And you mentioned it last week on the podcast. They were like just hanging out, having fun in the back. Alex Pereira is the same way, but a little different. He's obviously a lot more stoic, but you can just see like he's just always locked in and always so calm. And it seemed like he always knows what's the next thing's going to come. He loves that little like slip off and then that little slip and rip. He loves that. But he's just so calm.
Yeah, my thing. I mean, it's Ankalaev has all of the tools to win. He has a straight left that's longer, and it's going to be there. He doesn't do a lot of dumb shit in terms of like overdoing stuff. His dumb shit is by not doing the stuff he should do, checking kicks.
He takes the hardest path possible.
Absolutely. Like I said, this is almost like a Jalen Turner thing. Initially, I was like, "Oh, Ankalaev is just going to win. He's going to take him down and wrestle him and this and that." We just don't see it. And so all we can do is like I said, we don't have a crystal ball. I can only go off the tape that I've seen before. And he's not wrestling. He's not even bullying people and getting in the clinch and like beating these guys up like Ratchich and pushing them around. He's standing on the outside and one punching them.
He did it to Anthony Smith.
And yeah, he did to Anthony Smith. But yeah. And you have a guy who's going to calf kick. Even opposite stance, doesn't matter. He's going to throw the inside calf kick. He's going to stand there. He's going to throw. I wouldn't surprise me to see Ankalaev win this, but I got to go Pereira because I know what he'll do. I know how he fights. Yeah, there are some big holes with him reaching and doing stuff and getting taken down, but at least I know he's going to try to win via the best route possible for him. And Ankalaev, I don't know that he's going to. I don't know that he's going to shoot time and time and time again. And the other thing is that Pereira's takedown defense is getting better. His jiu-jitsu is getting better. Who's to say that he doesn't get taken down round 1 and round 2 and then get back up and survive? And now Ankalaev isn't shooking ananymore and doing the stuff.
Do you really
anymore.
feel that it is getting better?
Yeah, I think so. I think he's training it a lot more again and again. Look, man, Ankalaev could take this guy down and just batter him. I just don't know that he's going to.
So there was a video that surfaced of Pereira the other day at the PI training, and this like 155er. Grabbed a hold of him, inside trip, and just tipped him over. And then there was a lot of people defending him like, oh, yeah, but if you get too far in an inside position, of course it's going to happen to anybody.
I think that was Cody Brundage, so it's not that bad.
Was it Cody Brundage?
Yeah.
I don't think it was. It was a lot smaller guy, man. It was a lot smaller guy. But you can tell the difference of a guy who knows how to defend a takedown versus a guy who doesn't. He stood squared up with him. The guy inside tripped him, and then he just fell straight back. It's not like he was putting an underhook, switching his hips over.
Yeah.
He didn't pull up the hands. He didn't do anything correctly that he was supposed to. That was a guy, I know they were just training, and it's completely different than a fight.
Yep.
I totally understand that. But a guy who probably weighs 165 pounds taking down this massive giant of Alex Pereira, and it's not even the takedown. Again, it's just training, but it was the reactions were not there. Everything was missing. And then there is a certain point too. I think he's too tall to have good jiu-jitsu. Like there's just a certain point where you're too tall to actually like fish a hook in and be able to elevate and lift and stand. And he's such a good kickboxer that much grappling is going to wear him out. I mean, he does get tired. That is the thing about Pereira is if you do force him to grapple, he does fill up with blood and he does slow down. We'll never forget that first Izzy fight, right? Yep. He was so full of blood, and how he pulled that out in the 4th round, or was it the 5th round? I'll never know because he looked dead tired.
The Blachowicz fight.
Yeah, exact same thing.
Grappling.
So I'm just thinking, like, if Ankalaev can stay safe and even force 1 or 2 takedowns, I think that Pereira is going to be way too tired to even have the power to knock him out. His reactions just aren't right to me. They're not right.
Ankalaev should win. I just don't know based on what we've seen before that he does.
How much of a nightmare would it be for the UFC if he's the champion? He is the worst champion.
He should win, and I was expecting, again, man, we should be going back and watching that film and seeing him box people and take them down and then fake shots and come over the top and use all of his skills. And if he did, man,
we're going to have John Castañeda corner him after he wins.
Yeah, just mix and go and win a title instead of trying to put your balls on the table. He should win. He has all the tools. I don't know that he does.
What's your official pick?
I'm going to go Pereira just to...
And Pierce, official.
It's just a high stakes.
Don't beat around the bush. Look into the camera. Get a close up on him.
One word. Last name.
I don't know.
Oh, pussy.
Ankalaev. Give me Ankalaev to pass this IQ test.
Big Daddy Ank. All right. That's the show.
That's a wrap.
Thank you guys. Thanks for Pierce coming in. He flew out just to celebrate spring break and see some titties. Join the Patreon, join the Discord. And if you guys need your hood cleaned or your booty rummaged, Santino, call him up.
I got you.
Thanks, guys.
It's hot as shit in here.